I know, he's got plans. Big guy. Okay. At this time, I would like to call our Randolph County Board meeting to order. Welcome tonight. I think we had 3 meetings this month. We started seeing this, but actually, I was going to a lot of things. I was talking to some people since school was out and all, and I was thinking about some of the things. Now we're back together that I missed. I'm looking forward to finally getting back in here. And like you hadn't been a part of it when we recognize people, kids. That is the coolest thing. The boardroom's full, and you know, a lot of those kids that we recognize, that may be the only time they get recognized, and you know, they stand out. They're star students, and they've done something. Maybe they've had some of them's had a kind of a tough time, and you know, their faces really light up, and that's a cool thing. And I was thinking we missed that the last 15 months, and even the star employees when you started that's a bright spot for them. But we've missed all that, and I was thinking over the weekend about people that's retired, and you know, they just kind of went away. We never. That's kind of big. You know, miss that. You know, I was thinking about Marty. Marty Trotter. You know, all those years, and he just kind of went away. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, Larry. We're glad you're here. But anyway, I was using him as an example, and I was thinking about. I think she didn't work for us, but I kind of felt like she worked with us the last 15 months. That lady from the health department, Susan Hayes. Yes, I mean, gosh, that had to be. That was right up there with the superintendent's job. That's a bad job to have. You couldn't win. So I was thinking about. That probably made her retire. I'm glad in there. But anyway, we do appreciate all she done. You know, worked with us, and never got to tell anybody that. But if you're retired or you were a part of star employee or student, that's really going to be cool to get back to that, you know. Bees, you might be a star board member one day, I doubt it. But anyway, would you join me for a moment of silence? Thank you. This time, would you stand for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I did forget to say, welcome, Jill. It's nice to have you back. I'm sure you've missed us. Yes.
Last time I was here, we were much farther apart.
I know. It's nice to be close. Well, kind of. Anyway, this time, Dr. Gaines share some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Thank you, board members. Good to be back in kind of our regular format. But I want to just say a couple things that happened the last couple of weeks. I first want to start by thanking all of our staff members for their hard work during the 2021 school year. It was a great school year. The school year ended with some end-of-year assemblies and celebrations, band concerts, chorus concerts, award ceremonies, capping events in high schools. We started getting back towards what we were used to 15 months ago, and just to appreciate everybody's hard work to make those events a reality. And I would just say on the 2nd of June, went home very proud as a superintendent upon receiving many reports of successful high school graduations throughout the school system. And those graduations accompanied the one that was on the 21st of May at Randolph Early College High School. It was very successful as well. Without a doubt, the 2021 school year presented many challenges. However, our staff, students, parents, and board members handled these challenges like champions from day one of the school year, which was August 17 for the Randolph County School System. Was it difficult at times to keep the schools open? Absolutely. However, in my opinion, the true character of our school system and community continued to shine through and send the message of keep going because kids need to be in school. You have to be a team and stick together as a team to do what occurred in the Randolph County School System this year. And all 4 groups of people certainly stuck together as a team from August 17 until June 2nd for the good of the kids in our community. And I'm very proud of that. It will forever be one that I will remember And just again, our staff, our students, our parents, and our community members stuck together as a team from day one. And if we had not done that as a team, I do not think we'd have made it past October. Because there were plenty of times, and I do want to say, you know, Mr. Cook, you referenced Susan Hayes, she has retired. But I can remember many conversations I had with her throughout this time. And there were times in November and December when numbers were rising, and even late October. And she continued to say to me, if you can continue to do what you're doing to maintain safety in your schools, I will not shut your schools down. And she held true to that commitment the whole way, even when our numbers got very large in the middle of that school year, around that mid-year winter break. So I want to say a big thank you to her as well, because she was a tremendous teammate of mine from day one of this, but she did hold to that the entire year. If you can keep going and your staff can do what you're doing with contact tracing, I will not shut your school system down, and she did not. Even when we were the only county in the state that remained in the red, she kept us open, and I will forever appreciate that for what she did for our kids and our families. So this concludes my comments.
Thank you, Dr. Gaines. You know, your teammates here, they were pretty good to work with too through that, wasn't it? Just, that's not about you guys. We want to stay at school too, but wow, I hope we never have to go through that again. That's just terrible, I'm telling you. Okay, so at this time, I need a motion to adopt the meeting agenda. Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to the information items with Dr. Gaines.
Board members, I bring to you tonight a gift, and I received this notification of this gift on May 13 from Susan Chapel, principal of Eastern Randolph High School. And the gift was given to Eastern Randolph by Travis Whitaker of Whitaker Waterscapes. And it was a water feature. It's going to be installed at the front entrance of Eastern Randolph High School. The value is $3,500. So I did accept this gift on May 14. And a copy of the email from Susan Chapel is attached, but due to it being $5,000 or less per board policy 8220, I bring it to you tonight as an information item. So I wanted to make you aware of that gift, and want to say a big thank you to Travis Whitaker and Whitaker Waterscapes for that gift that they provided to Eastern Randolph High School. I do believe in the email it was referenced as a gift in honor of the class of 2021.
Okay. Thanks for that. This time we need a motion to approve the consent items. So have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. This time we'll move to the action items. Dr. Gaines.
Board members, I put in your packet tonight a request from the School Board Association. Another friend of our school system is the North Carolina School Board Association. A lot of our policy work would not have been able to occur if we had not had them helping us. We just simply would not have the staff to do what has been done in our board policy manual. Several of you remember that from, I think, Mr. Cutler, you were with us. We were at a presentation back in the fall of 14 at the middle school at Chatham County when they had the regional meeting, and they brought up the board policy review process, and several board members were intrigued by that. We looked into it and pursued that. So now this partner of our school system, of which you're a member of their organization, has a action center. We've had this before. We've been members of this before in the past, and then we've not been members of it. It provides a lobbyist on behalf of school boards with the legislature. It does allow the School Board Association an opportunity to address certain legislative concerns we may see during a legislative session. So I bring it to you tonight, and I will follow the lead of the board, whether we join this again for the upcoming year. We've not been members of this for several years. I do not remember how many, but we would fall into the range of our fee would be based on the projected ADM of our school system, which were clearly in the $10,000 to $16,999 range. So our fee would be $5,000 if we choose to be a member of this or contribute to this action center. Again, many times when I send emails down to people, I send it to the Superintendent Association, or it's not Superintendent Association, it's School Administrator Association, and I also send it to the School Board Association. I don't know who it'll be now, Jill, but with Leanne Winter now becoming the lead of that organization, I'll continue just to send it to Leanne, but eventually I'll get connected to whoever's kind of taking her role. But those two groups go at it pretty hard on our behalf with things in the legislature when legislation comes up. But I will leave that for discussion at this point, Mr. Cook, on what direction the board would like to go in, whether we choose to be a member of this School Board Association Action Center or not.
Is Leanne leaving?
No, she's the president now, but she's not the chief officer.
Oh, okay.
Ed Dunlap retired,
Okay.
and so she took his position.
I
Tom?
believe Bruce is doing, at least filling in for her, but I think that position may be advertised, I'm not sure. I think he's interim, I'm not sure.
Yeah, some reason Jill, I think you're right. Bruce Middendorf has called me several times about things, so that Leanne may have called me, whether it be in local legislation or whatever. So yeah, I would imagine that's probably the alignment right now.
Probably a little state of law.
Todd, you, I know you worked with them at one time, and I'll explain, I think the reason we haven't joined it the last, and I may have made the statement 2 or 3 years, there was a time when I honestly felt like, I honestly don't feel that way anymore, okay? But there was a time when I felt like we had the relationship that Dr. Gainey would pick up the phone, and you would call Senator Tillman on a lot of things, and, you know, that would get the ball rolling. I don't know if you, I don't know, the relationships are, you went through him a lot. I mean, and sometimes we were kind of joking and said, well, hey, that started here in Randolph County with a phone call from Dr. Gainey. Are we missing that piece now? I don't know. Time will tell. But I guess my question is, well, you guys want to comment on it? I mean, Todd, you were close to it.
Yeah, I was. To me, I think what we have learned from this transition, from Senator Tillman to the new people, it just seems like there's a disconnect. And to me, I personally support the North Carolina School Board's Action Center. I do talk to those people. I know just on legislation this session, they have intervened and have been working hard behind the scenes, and that's something that, you know, a lot of us, we never get to, we don't know, but I know they are doing it. Bruce Mildred, I've talked to him several times. He's always available. He's always there to answer questions. And I just think that we need to really consider supporting this just to have that person that we know we can go to, just to be able to have that relationship.
And they've helped us out a ton with our policies and stuff as well, I know.
But that's a different.
I know it's a different
It's
thing,
different, yeah.
and I understand that, but I honestly, and I know you work with them too, you make your opinion on it, but I feel a little disconnect now.
What is,
In time, it may come back, you know, but it's not here now.
and Dr. Gainey, maybe you can speak on it. If we should join back with this association, what is your past experience as far as interaction and just kind of, you know, how it goes is interaction and the benefit, I guess. What benefits, negatives?
Well, I don't think it ever hurts for you to have another relationship with someone who's on that front row down there. I'm not going to say if we don't join that the School Board Association is going to be any less connected to us, because quite frankly, I have some and have had the pleasure of having some very talented staff members here, as talented as anywhere I've been, and they catch many things. Like the other week, Todd and Andrea called me in their office, one of their offices and said, there's an issue here with a class size statement that's not on this document, it's been taken off. Well, that led to stopping what we were doing, because that could have done a lot of damage come September when it played a role. So, you know, between staff and relationships we have with the School Board Association, I can't say this is gonna hurt us at all. You know, all of this is about relationships and about momentum over years. It doesn't, you know, I hope you've alluded to some of the stuff with legislators. I hope we built momentum over the years. And more importantly, I hope we built some trust that when we call them about something, this is real. This isn't just, I mean, we see something like what Andre and Todd found the other day. That would have handicapped all 115 school systems if it had played out the way it did, was going to, but it's been changed now. So I don't see it hurts us. I do know Bruce Mildorf. He is easy to talk to, and as Joe says, he may not be the one that's in this phone call, but there's a bigger picture. What role do we want the Randolph County School System, Randolph County Board of Education to have statewide, if nothing more than the presence? And, you know, I'm not gonna minimize the amount. It's been higher than this, and our enrollment has not been, the enrollment has not dropped off so much that we'd say that was the reason it's lower. I think it's been brought down a little bit, to be honest with you, Mr. Cutler. Yeah, I think it's kind of, the whole scale's been brought down a little bit, but, you know, you never know when you're a member of one of these initiatives, you never know what that does for you in the end. So, it's just one more avenue for us. You know, the School Board Association has been very good to us, and Jill, you're right, it's a different facet of the association, but it's that same body that's helped guide school boards for years. And if we had gone, Jill and Elizabeth and their staff could have helped us do that board policy manual review. But if we relied totally on them, we would never have been under 40. What we got, we paid $8,300 3 different times over a 3-year window, and that was a discount because we had their staff. And now what we have is they read our policies specifically because we pay for a customer service. So, and Beverly's shaking her head because Beverly knows as much about our board policies as anybody in the school system because she works directly with me. And so, you know, I can support it. Don't have any problem supporting it. Times change, and I don't think that our school system is ever going to suffer from another positive relationship we can forge with groups.
It sounds like that they're already providing service, and the pay is kind of optional. So
We've joined it for several years, and
yeah, they're already doing the work. So
the only reason I think we got away from it was because we all felt like we had, it's all about a relationship. And I felt like my phone call or his phone call, or any of your phone calls at one time would make a difference. Will they now? I don't know. Time will tell. So you know what, I'm willing to support it, just like Dr. Danny, if somebody wants to.
Well, and Ed Dunlap was a great leader, and now he is retired, and Leanne Winter is taking the spot. And this is what she did the whole time, was this right here. She wasn't the lobbyist, but if they still feel a need for this center, it's obviously they're seeing some progress this center's making by hiring that outside lobbyist. So I don't think it hurts.
Is it for a year?
1 year, you do the membership 1 year. And like I said, I think these scales come down, but.
So we look with it.
You know, the thing is, I mean, one of the benefits is having that relationship, is having lobbyists working on your behalf. You also have to understand too, the charter schools have a whole lot more lobbyists than the public schools and North Carolina School Board Association. So we do need somebody working on our behalf.
Even if it's just carrying our school system
So if we're going that way, I would ask that we need to make a motion, right? Either way,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the North Carolina School Board Action Center 2021 to 2022 contribution for Randolph County School System.
motion's been made, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You have opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for adding that, bringing that back. Okay, Dr. Dan.
Okay, board members, bring you another gift tonight, and this is a different situation, and it shows you what Board Policy 8220, the division of gifts, based on dollar figures. On the 3rd of June, Andrea Haynes, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, made me aware. She sent me an email and said the gift had been offered by Vamela Transportation Group in High Point. I guess I'm saying that right. The gift consisted of 20,000 face shields with a value of $1 per face shield. Don't know when we may or may not use these again, but I think it's a gift that we certainly don't want to have to pay for out of our funds if we were ever to have to use them in the fall. The estimated value therefore of the gift is $20,000, and I accepted this gift on the 3rd of June on behalf of staff, school system, knowing that because it's over $5,000 for Board Policy 8220, you have to officially approve it before we can accept this gift. Just so you know, the plan is, if it's accepted tonight, a box of face shields will go to each school, and then there's a plan to disseminate face shields to particularly the high schools and middle schools where we'll use them in science lab areas. And the idea is we're going to encourage schools to have kids put their names on them so they want to be, they can be used multiple times. So I'll bring that gift to you tonight, but for us to accept it, we do need action from the school board. This is an action item.
I hope we use them mostly for science, man. When we make this motion, I know it's not here, but I really like, okay, let me get this, I'm gonna ask a quick question. Okay, need a motion to approve the gift from, is it Vamela? Vamela Transportation Group to the school system.
So moved.
Have a second? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. I was going to real quick ask Jill a question. I know we're almost ready to go into closed session. I had spoken to Elizabeth about us getting closer together and not wearing a mask, you know, and she said we were good. And she said she would follow up and keep, you guys were monitored and all. Has anything changed? And I was especially, I'm thinking the little ones, you know, K3, you know, the smaller grades. You know, I hate, you know, I can't hardly breathe now if I go up. And I'll be honest with you, you know, I'm not sure, and I'm not wearing one unless I'm forced to. But, and I will not. I've just had enough of it, you know, times I'm done. It's just the truth, I'm done. But, and I hate to put kids in that situation, what I feel and the way I feel. Has anything changed by law where we, you know, I keep telling people, you know what, we gotta obey the law.
I understand what you mean. I think the policy related to schools is driven by the fact that vaccines aren't available. The policy that's driven for adults is different because adults can be vaccinated. And so as the opportunity to vaccinate expands and figures go down, it may change, but it has not.
That's just tough for summer school, those going. I mean, that, I think that's just cruel. I'm sorry, I think it's wrong, it's inconsiderate. You know what, I would hope we wouldn't run anybody out if they happen to forget it, but anyway, that's another story. That's just wrong.
when would the governor's, I mean, he's got the mandate, when would his authority to not issue that mandate come into place for our schools?
I mean, I think I think the health department drives the whole bus.
Yeah.
So the health metrics will drive the whole bus.
Well, the problem we get is, I'm telling you, just everybody that we're here, the problem we get is the common sense thing the whole time. And now we have parents, and they're sending us emails, phone calls, we're getting them all the time. You get them every day. And the kids, you know, we got a 12-year-old that's 100 pounds, it's a perfect blood pressure, perfect shape, and then they see grandma come in at 85 years old, and she's got high blood pressure, diabetes, and everything else, and they're in the restaurant, they don't wear a mask, but we got a kid at 16 years old running cross country that's perfect, and we're telling him, you need to strap up. And it's a common sense. It's like, you're way more likely with your diabetes and all your health problems to have complications than our students. And that's what parents come up and they're like, what are we doing? These are least likely, least susceptible people in the world to have problems, but we're still telling them to wear a mask. But we're telling the 85-year-old that has diabetes, you're good. You got your shot, you're good. It makes no sense. So we deal with that every day. We get calls, emails. I don't know who else you get. I mean, and it's just common sense. So what? How do we combat that? I mean, what is
I
that?
get a liar, so I said, you know what, I don't blame you, I hate it too.
It's hard to.
Just strap up, man. I like what you said, that, just strap up the mask, that's just,
Yeah.
mean sound, buddy.
Well, hopefully this summer will be the end of it, but, you
Yeah.
know, it's hard to say. As the numbers come down, everything's easy. But it will just depend on the numbers. The numbers are driving it. And it's a lot easier in any other world where you are old enough to qualify to be vaccinated than in our world where at least even up until 3 weeks ago, high school kids couldn't be vaccinated.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the incidences of children being hospitalized were rising, not falling.
Yeah.
So it was hard to say, oh, just come on in, let's jam 2,000 kids in a building
Yeah.
that aren't vaccinated, and, you know, we'll hope for the best. So it's not an easy answer.
Well, I mean, the problem
It's
is.
getting easier as incidences and percentages go down and vaccinations become more broadly.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, I think our schools are the most safe place these kids are ever at. I live 2 or 3 miles from Creekside Park, and on Friday night, there's gonna be 500 kids up there playing
That's been true
basketball.
all year.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, so,
Been true all year.
they're not masked up there, they're not strapped up, like we said. So it's,
But they go home to grad, you know, they go home to whoever's around.
yeah,
They're not living in a bubble, they're living.
They're
in
not.
people who are
and then,
inside of
and
it.
it seems like to me, the hypocrisy that we're doing right now, the kids, and I watched them play basketball this year, and depending on which official you had, you know, they wear them on their chin, they're wearing them on their neck, they're wearing them here, as long as you got it on you, you're good. That makes no sense. That's the problem we're fighting. So, I mean, I just have to say that.
We're putting our teachers in a situation where half these kids aren't wearing it and half of them are. So what's the obligation for that teacher? You can't punish anybody.
Well, I mean, the school year's over, but we do have summer school. You know,
Yeah.
I can't speak for what you're telling your teachers, but hopefully they're following the guidelines, because we don't want to follow the health of us. That would be a difficult place to be.
I think it's just tough on them they're looking, especially some of them that even in summer school, they're athletes, they're not wearing masks. Sports, you know, anymore, and now if they go to summer school, they walk in, they gotta put a mask on, so they're tit for tat on that situation right there.
Are you saying it has to come from our local health department then? Or no,
No,
still driven?
the mandate's statewide.
The mandate's still statewide,
But your health department enforces it.
but it has not gone away for inside. The mask requirement has not gone away from inside, even for inside athletics has not gone away. So that was, I dealt with that today with a basketball workout early this morning. The mask piece has not gone away. And what Jill says is accurate in that what's gonna change it is if the vaccination numbers increase, that will change it. And Jill, my understanding, if I'm remembering right, they've not opened it up to allowing children to be vaccinated under age 12 yet. Is that
Well,
correct?
the 12 just started, I think,
Yeah.
it was 16 until I
So
think
you-
last week.
You've got two or three things. The age cutoff, the number of people vaccinated in that age group, and the availability of vaccination.
Right.
And then, Mr. Biggs, you mentioned, for the longest time in the pandemic, the least susceptible group of individuals were considered to be the little ones. But then over time, it started getting into the elementary schools. And so, I was in a meeting about 2 weeks ago, and they mentioned, the possibility of wearing masks next year in school, and I'm just gonna hope that we have enough progress this summer that will continue to work its way out, because that will be, that could be very difficult as you were talking about, as we go through this summer, and a lot of things change back to the way they were 15 months ago. If a lot of people feel that will be very difficult to put back on schools.
Yeah, I mean, if you were a betting person, you would say that you'll have periods of time next year where we're doing all kinds of protocols and periods of time when we're not. In other words, it'll be a lot more sporadic instead of so wholesale, everybody's doing masks. You'll have an outbreak and you'll have a response, as opposed to a statewide situation. That's what is the most likely. But who knows? Who would predict we'd be here a year ago March? None of us. We were all wondering if we were gonna be doing this till May. Remember that? So it's hard to say.
Okay, I just had to bring that up. I would like to, Dr. Gandy and myself were at the same graduation last week, and we did have a senator there, and we definitely, we went there, didn't we? We definitely went there about the mask. Well, don't think for 1 second that Dr. Gandy's not voicing his opinion. If you know me at all, I'm definitely voicing mine. So we give him an earful, but we'll see what it does. Okay, so we move on to finance and budget, I think. Is that right? Yes, Todd.
Good evening, board members. So we've discussed the school business system modernization project on several occasions over the last couple of years. So I come to you this evening to talk about it one more time. As you know, lack of a state budget for the past 2 fiscal years, lack of funding for the SBSM project. And to refresh your memory, this is the project that would update software, financial software systems for all the LEAs and for the Department of Public Instruction. So in my estimation, we're now 2 years behind schedule on that project statewide, except for the pilot system. So there's a handful of school systems that are in the pilot, and they have received their funding, and a lot of those are finishing up right now, but we have not started. We're in the next wave, so to speak, of that initiative. So tonight, I would like to bring to you and recommend that the Randolph County School System enter into a 3-year contract with Serenic. That's our current provider. If you recall, June 15th of 2020, you approved agreeing to a 3-year contract with Serenic. They dropped the rate. It's based on a per student rate. So this 3-year deal would replace the existing one, which we are 1 year into that contract right now. We're getting ready to start year 2. This would replace that contract, and it would extend the agreement out until June 30th of 2024. I don't feel like there's a reason really not to do this. It basically takes our fee from $640 per student down to $550 per student. They're just wanting to continue to try to retain customers during this period, which really, we don't really have much of a choice. I mean, we could go with a different product that's already out there, but I don't think we want to do that. So this is just really just extra savings for us now that we're, once again, we've been delayed another year, in 1 year. So it does take the price from $6.40 to $5.50 per student. That's a projected savings of about $14,361. So since it's based on ADM, the cost per year will fluctuate some. And right now, the estimated numbers they gave me for, that Smith gave me for the 21-22, if we enter into this agreement, I think it's a little high based on our, I think I have an old ADM number for us, so I'm going to be talking to them about that. But the main thing to understand is that it's dropping the per student price from $640 to $550. It extends our current agreement basically 1 more year through June 30th of 2024. Any questions about that? I feel like it's kind of a win-win situation for us. That's who we're going to keep as our provider until we do make the transition with Tyler Technologies.
And board members, the transition to the school business systems modernization movement, that it will allow us to eventually, as we talked a couple of years ago, our HR and our finance systems will be one and the same. Right now, we have two that don't talk, and they run separately. That transition is years away now. That's going to cost a lot of money. And what was proposed and put out there 2 years ago, somewhere along the line, whoever was supposed to save the money, put it away, didn't. And they pulled money from, what was it, technology, Todd? They about zeroed out our state technology fund this year.
That was to keep the pilots going.
To keep the pilot school systems going. So I think we went from about 300,000 in that line item last year to 3,000 this year. They pulled that money, zeroed out the state technology fund. Remember, we get state connectivity money and state technology money, and they about zeroed out everybody's state technology just to keep those pilot systems going. So that tells you they're way off on the financial piece of the school business modernization project. So,
They had actually pulled the funding last year, 1920. They actually pulled the funding for the pilots also, and there was such an uproar about that. They found the money for the pilots to at least continue those. So I think a lot of the pilots will be finishing up, or most of them.
Will they go back? Will they have to go back to the other? Or
they'll
they stay tied?
move forward,
Yeah,
whatever they
they're
choose.
either on Tyler or Oracle, yes. So they'll be able to stay, but I'm just, at this point, and especially, where we stand right now with the 21-22 budget, a state budget, I'm just not very hopeful that we'll have funding, once again, in the state budget modernization project.
Todd, what's interesting about this that you bring tonight, it just hit me a couple of years ago as the school business modernization project was coming out. We were talking about how our costs at Saranac had continued to rise. And we were concerned, and we thought, well, we'll go 1 more year. We're going, and the board, I think, voted for us to get in that second group. We wanted, and now here we are. It shows you something's happening with this project. We're in our favor, Saranac bringing their costs down.
We've gone from, do you remember when I presented that, the Tyler contract to you that night? Our Saranac bill for the next year was going to be $144,000. And so then it's gone from that to 102 and now down to estimated 87. I think it'll be less than that once I talk to them about the ATM number we're using. So they're playing ball with us now, and they're doing it for a reason. They're wanting to retain customers because they say they will have a modern platform too. So I think they're trying to win some business down the road. But we're already into an agreement with Tyler. I don't know. That might be a discussion for the future, to see what that really means now that, I don't know, that'd be a good question for Gio at some point to say, hey, what does that agreement we signed 2 years ago with Tyler really mean now? So anyway, but I'm not really concerned about that. I'm just wanting to save us a little bit of money next year on our subscription fees.
Any more questions?
In 3 years on this contract, anyway, 2 years from now, we're forced to do a thing with Tyler to also pay for this at the same time?
I don't know that we would be forced to do that. Once again, that's probably going to be more of a question for Jill, because all that language in those timelines in that first contract.
Worries me when the attorney says
With Tyler.
it worries me when the attorney says we'll look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, but, yeah, I think at a minimum, because like I said, we're so far off on our timeline with Tyler, I think at a minimum, we could at least delay that implementation. So I feel like that would not be an issue, because once again, we haven't met the timelines that we originally agreed to. So that order of us being in the queue at a certain point, I don't know that really means anything anymore, honestly. So it's, and I don't really get a lot of information coming from DPI on this project. It's, once in a while it comes up, and yeah, we're hopeful that the funding will be there in the 21-22 budget and this and that, but I don't really hear much else.
Anything else? No, we need a motion to approve this Serenic contract.
So move.
You have a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Tom.
I move at this time that the Randolph County Board of Education will enter into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute to preserve the attorney-client privilege, to discuss confidential personnel matters protected by North Carolina General Statute, to discuss confidential student matters if needed, protected by FERPA.
All right, we have a motion, have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're in closed session. motion to approve the certified personnel report.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
I'd like
Opposed?
to recuse myself from
So then we need a motion to approve the administrative transfer.
So moved.
Have a second?
that. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Dr. Gandy, did you have?
Yeah, Mr. Cook, I wanted to share a couple of things with you. Summer school, we are ready to go with summer school. Kathy, I want to say a big thank you to Kathy and her staff publicly because they work very hard and there've been a lot of people involved. Andrea's been involved with the hiring, Todd, transportation, you name it, we've been involved with that. Feel like we've got a good plan. No doubt we struggle with covering some places, but as far as teaching, but we feel like we're in good shape, ready to start. Teachers came back, was today the first teacher work day or tomorrow's first teacher work day, and then we start with the children on 14th, which is Monday. Another topic that's out there is the Virtual Academy at Randolph, K-8. Kathy shared with me today in leadership that we had, or shared with the whole leadership team, we have 110 students right now, and we have posted the teacher positions. We posted teacher positions as K-5 teacher and 6-8 teachers, so we'll be working through that. And again, just tremendous work. That one has really landed in the curriculum area big time as Kathy's technology staff, as I see her staff in the back, researching with Kathy with the curriculum, how we will be able to acquire the curriculum per student at a cost. So feel really good about that. We hope we can bring you, before this month's over, a principal for the Virtual Academy at Randolph. Position is posted, and then we will start working. We posted data manager today. We posted the 50% counselor today, and we posted the 50% technology specialist there. And Kathy, have you shared where we're going yet or not? So are you fine with me saying where it will be housed? It will be housed at Tabernacle Elementary School. When you look at Tabernacle Elementary School, there's a building to the left. We wanted somewhere that could be separate on a campus and staff could come and go. Plenty of room in there for the staff. If you recall with this plan, staff will come to a work site every day and feel really good about that. What I love hearing staff talk about is things such as, what is the package for furniture? You know, obviously we have furniture from Braxton Creighton we can use, and furniture that Justin Pugh already has over at Tabernacle. But then when you hear them talk about what is that package for technology that every teacher in that academy is going to have, like needing 2 screens to be able to interact with the children. That's big time conversation right there. That's big time planning, and that staff members wanting to do it right, wanting to do it with a sense of excellence. And so excited to see this come, and we don't know. We established our deadline today is June 21. We have to have that so Kathy's group can plan with the acquisition of the online curriculum. And we'll see how the rest of the summer goes. But right now, we put out June 21 is our cutoff for now, so we can staff what we have now, and we're beginning to work through. I guess you and Tammy are getting ready to start working through the contracts that people are going to sign, that when they sign, they commit for a year to the school, and so there won't be any back and forth. I come here for a little while and I go back, and Elizabeth's been very helpful with this information and helping us provide support for our staff. So that's about as much as I can share. Kathy, do you need to share more, Kathy?
You did a great job. Great job.
You taught me well, Kathy. Thank you.